Welcome back, everyone. I'm RJ, your intern with the Fox Waterway Agency, and today I'll be continuing our discussion on internal loading. In the previous two videos, I covered what internal loading is, along with its causes and impacts on our lakes. Today, we'll shift focus to what we can do to prevent and reduce nutrient and sediment buildup in our watershed. But before we talk about removing nutrients already in the water, it's important to start with the most effective strategy in our arsenal: preventing them from entering the system in the first place. One of the biggest challenges to our landscape has been the loss of native vegetation. In Illinois, over 99% of original plant communities that once lived here have been replaced by urban and agricultural development. That matters because native plants once played a key role in absorbing nutrients from soil and slowing runoff into waterways. Without them, more nutrients have been carried directly into lakes and streams. The solution isn't about eliminating things like lawns entirely, it's about restoring balance where we can. Take a moment to look at your own yard. Is there a section that rarely gets used? A low spot where water tends to pool after rain? Or a stretch of land near a creek, stream, or shoreline? These are ideal places for small native planting projects that can have an outsized impact over time. And no, this isn't about turning everyone's yard into a prairie restoration project. Even small incremental changes can make a huge difference. Historically, one of the major contributors to phosphorus pollution was residential fertilizer use. This is why in 2010, Illinois banned phosphorus in lawn fertilizers. Despite that environmental win, nutrient runoff is still a concern. The issue isn't about what's in the fertilizer we use, it's how much and when it's applied. Any nutrients that aren't absorbed by plants are vulnerable to being washed away when it rains. If your lawn is struggling, it's worth considering whether fertilizers are actually the solution. In many cases, poor growth is caused by compacted soil that limits airflow and water infiltration. Aeration can often improve conditions without the need to add any extra nutrients. If fertilizer is necessary, it should be applied conservatively, only where needed and in appropriate amounts. And if any fertilizer bits spill onto hard surfaces like driveways or sidewalks, they should be swept up and thrown away to prevent runoff. Just as removing weeds is essential in a garden, the same principle applies to a larger scale to lakes and river systems. Mechanical weed harvesting not only improves navigation for boats in the waterway, it also directly removes nutrients from the system. Every pound of plant and algae material removed are nutrients those plants no longer have to grow, preventing them from contributing to the lake's internal loading. Over time, consistent harvesting can help reduce the severity of algal blooms and improve water clarity. A strong example of this approach can be seen at Pewaukee Lake in Wisconsin. Their weed harvesting program has been active for over 4 decades and has contributed to improved water clarity and a significant reduction in algal blooms in recent years. As of right now, thanks to their weed harvesting program alone, they have not had a single algal bloom in the last 15 years. Finally, the most well-known and certainly the most requested method of sediment removal is dredging. Dredging involves physically removing sediment from lake bottoms using either mechanical excavation or hydraulic suction. It's one of the most direct ways to restore depth and improve navigation, but is also the most expensive method. To put it in perspective, dredging is typically measured in cubic yards, which is a cube that measures 1 yard by 1 yard by 1 yard. A 5-gallon bucket represents only a fraction of that volume, which helps just illustrate the scale involved. For large projects, costs generally range from about $40 to $100 per cubic yard. For smaller scale projects, costs can typically range from $300 to $500 a cubic yard. Now, consider the scale of sediment accumulation across the chain of lakes over the past several decades. One of our largest dredging projects that we will need to undertake spans the entire western half of Grass Lake behind me. To dredge that section of the lake to a healthy sediment level, it is estimated we would need to dredge approximately 4 million cubic yards of sediment. Even with conservative estimates, that project would cost over $160 million. And that's just one site. There are dozens of additional dredging projects across the system, even if most of them are tiny by comparison. When we look at internal loading as a whole, it becomes clear that there isn't a single solution that will fix or save our watershed. Instead, it will require a multi-layered approach. Prevention efforts like restoring native vegetation and using fertilizers responsibly can help reduce the amount of nutrients from entering the system in the first place, but that can only bring us so far. The damage that has been done to our lakes is already there, either trapped in the sediment or free-floating in the water. Practices like weed harvesting and dredging will be able to address the long-term buildup of sediment that has accumulated over the decades, restoring depth, improving navigation, and helping reset the system where it has been most heavily impacted. Each method plays a different role, but they all work towards the same thing: healthier, more resilient lakes and rivers for all of us to enjoy. And with that, I want to thank everyone that made it to the end of this mini-series within a mini-series. We wanted to dedicate a large portion of our water quality series to internal loading because we needed to give a clearer picture of the scale and the complexity of the challenges facing the Fox watershed. My hope is that with these videos aren't just fun and educational, but also encourage small, meaningful actions, whether it's planting a small native garden, pulling weeds near the shoreline, or getting involved through volunteering with the agency. Each of these things adds up towards a healthier, more resilient waterway. See you all again soon. Next time, we'll shift our focus to runoff and its impacts on our watershed. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you again next time.